Welcome, everyone, to this special broadcast. This is an interview hosted by myself, Matthew, from the Scale Builders Guild. I'm here live with Todd Mattson from ProLine Racing and Chris Dickerson from Horizon Hobby. I'd like to welcome you both. Thank you for both jumping on this stream. It's really great to have you today.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It is. It's really actually pretty exciting to have you both on this together in the same room and to answer a lot of people's questions about the most recent acquisition and some very exciting stuff for the future, I think.
Absolutely.
We're excited for sure.
Why don't you guys take a second to introduce yourselves and tell everyone that's watching a little bit about yourselves.
Chris, why don't you start out?
Okay. I'm Chris Dickerson with Horizon. I just celebrated my 18th anniversary here at Horizon, and I'm part of the RC community. And I'm just excited, as you said, to be here today to share this great news that I think is good for the entire industry.
That's awesome. I'm Todd Mattson, and I've been with ProLine 28 years. So started out as a marketing manager and worked my way through some ownership transitions and bought the company from Joe Warren. And it's been a blast. I mean, it's been a dream come true to be a business owner, to build ProLine, build the ProLine brand, to develop products for our industry. Just something that I've had a blast. So this idea of being teamed with Horizon is something that's I always think it's been 28 years in the making, just of a great relationship between two great companies.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much for those excellent introductions. And now on to the very difficult questions. First of which being, how did this conversation of the acquisition even transpire? Do you guys have a lot of communication back and forth before this happened, or is that something that sort of came out of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think this has been something that Chris and I have been talking about almost a year. I mean, it's just something that it started out as a lunch conversation and just kind of some talk about where the industry's at, and I get excited about Chris and I had met a couple times over the years, but I remember just lunch in Germany with Joe Ambrose, and I just got the impression that Horizon just had a lot of similarities in the way our team and their team works together, and the culture of the companies, just everything from the consistency of the team that's been there for really large amount of time, and the same thing with our team. So I just felt like just had some comfort as we got going in the conversation about what it might look like for us to join Horizon, and I think that's kind of what I remember of it, Chris. I don't know if you got it.
Yeah, I think you said it right. I mean, part of it is the industry is not all that big sometimes, and so whether it's Nuremberg, get the chance to meet up, and Todd's out in California and I'm in Illinois, and so you're going to see somebody and hey, let's have lunch just to catch up. And I think some of it's as simple as Horizon and ProLine have worked together for a long time, and ProLine is certainly a company we've always admired, not just for what they do, but kind of how they conduct themselves. And so about a year or so ago, Todd and I had lunch in Ontario, and just this possibility kind of started to be out there a little bit. And I think life sometimes pretty simple. Surround yourself with the people you want to be around and you admire and want to learn from. And as this became kind of more and more real, I think ProLine is a great example of that. Just a company, ProLine, Protoform, Todd, the whole team. It just people we want to work with, and the more closely we can do so, the better.
Fantastic. Now on to the next question. Will ProLine/Protoform continue to be made in the USA? And I think that this is probably a good question for Todd to answer first.
Yeah, so that's one thing that's been kind of a constant for us as a company. From when ProLine was started, 38 years ago. It started out with a basis of developing our own tools and making our own parts. And so, yeah, one of the things we're most proud of as a company is just the process of manufacturing in the United States and manufacturing in California. It's really it's actually one of the things that I think really is special about manufacturing is that you just continue to be challenged by how to improve, how to make things better. It's one of the things that's kind of in the fabric of our product line. And when people talk about how much they love ProLine, I think manufacturing for ProLine and Protoform, it's really it's been a core kind of capability for us, and it's been something that I would say, when we talk to Horizon, I mean, it's one of the strengths that I think we really bring to the table. That is not something that is so common in this day and age in our hobby industry. I mean, so many products are outsourced, and so we love the challenge of manufacturing, and we love the fact that Horizon has a high value on that too, of just us continuing that, and we think it's one of the ways that that we will continue to just bring great things to the table is through manufacturing and through our capabilities. And so all our tires, all our bodies, all our wheels, all made in the U.S. still, and we love that about what we're doing. So I think it was one of the things we felt confident that Horizon would see value in that, and I think Chris will tell you that that's one of the fun things that this partnership really brings to the table now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the things that makes ProLine really special, and I think helps them be even more innovative, is they control things kind of from concept to packaging and shipping it out the door. It allows them to move faster, to move quicker, nimble, control quality. This was one of the things that we look to have them help Horizon get better, and to think like a manufacturer. Like Todd said, I mean, part of manufacturing is you're just always getting better, and that's an experience. We've got a lot of design experience, but this idea of being a manufacturer is something that our expertise really now resides from the ProLine team. And folks like Tim and Todd and everybody out there, I think will be really good teachers for us. But yeah, the question, and again, it's a lot of the speculation online. This is something we want to do more of, not something we would want to try to harm or move away from. This is the reason people buy ProLine, and we want to expand on that. You don't wreck a good thing.
Absolutely, that's really great to hear, and I think that'll put a lot of people at ease. Is those responses right there. So thank you for that. On to the next one. Will ProLine continue to make product for all manufacturers? And that's something that I can definitely say the internet was ablaze with in terms of internet experts offering their opinions. So let's hear that from you guys.
Yeah, well, I think we know what we want to do with the product is we want to make people's experience in the hobby better. We want to continue to make people just love our hobby and love their experience with the product. And that's, our job is always to improve, every category. And so I think that's something that for sure is in the fabric of the way we think about product development. And so to stop making product because it's not proprietary at Horizon, I think is not something that Chris is, the team at Horizon, they want the whole ProLine, strengths, and part of the strength is just improving our whole hobby, improving, the brand strength at the hobby shop level. It has to include, the best kits out there and the best of the best. So, that's just something that, I think we really love that challenge, and trying to cover all the bases, of every kit that's relevant in our market. We find that as part of our adventure in making product. So.
Yeah, and I think one of the things ProLine does well is, they help nurture new experiences. So like, no prep drag racing. I think the ProLine team's done a great job with that. It's kind of this emerging new segment, and they've moved quickly. And I think because they've created new experiences for people, it's easier to get more people into it, because now you can get cool tires and wheels and bodies and all the stuff that people want, and certainly, as scale has just become like the thing in so much of RC, and you certainly understand that, Matt.
I have a bit of knowledge in that, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of your alley. But if something is cool and developing, ProLine's kind of on the leading edge of that. It can help develop these categories, and so regardless of manufacturer, if we're doing a good job of growing the hobby and keeping people engaged, it helps us all out. And whether that's Horizon directly, or it's Associated or Traxxas or Kyosho, whoever, more people in the hobby is good for everybody. The local hobby shop, everybody. So that's one of the things ProLine brings to the table. We want to make sure we continue to support that.
That's great, fantastic. I think we had a question here from one of our viewers. Jesse Schultz asks, what does this merger mean for the kit and RTR market?
So I guess maybe he's meaning I don't know if he means the Horizon kits. So like,
I'm sure that's what he's. Yeah, I'm sure that's what he's kind of leading at. Is like, as an example, would an axial kit ever feature a ProLine tire? Would that be something that you guys would consider in the future?
Yeah, and again, I think sometimes people have to realize that we're basically a week into this relationship, and so admittedly, it absolutely is a potential, and it's something we've batted around. And I look like the Hyrix tires that ProLine makes. I mean, that's what's on my SCX10. Would I be happy? Would I be happy if we did a kit or an RTR at some point that came with those tires? Absolutely. There are some logistics elements of that, of getting those tires that are made in California to line up with the vehicle. But I don't think we have anything to announce on this call today, but it's certainly an option. ProLine has a lot of really cool bodies. At some point, can we do things like that? I would definitely think that's an opportunity. But again, that's one of those. We'll probably need to get a little further into this than a week before we have those development plans all worked out. But it definitely is something we can do, especially if customers want it.
I'm really disappointed you haven't already worked that out. Let's go on to the. Yeah, maybe by next week. Yeah, we'll wait. Yeah. I'll give you a few days grace on that.
Yeah.
The next one, does this open the door for ProLine/Protoform to manufacture more licensed tires and bodies because of the license relationships that Horizon might have?
Yeah, I think we've already seen that just in doing an inventory of Horizon's licenses and our licenses. I think we see a lot of synergies with things we don't have access to, relationships they have, and we have some relationships possibly that Horizon doesn't currently have. And I think that's fun to think about, just what that might open up opportunities for us to do more licensed products. And and I think that's right in our wheelhouse. I mean, and often, I think just that's an example of where we can kind of bring both our strengths together on licensing and make it even stronger. So.
Great. This is a controversial question.
Really?
Does this mean, I have to be fair, guys. I didn't write any of these, so I don't know where they're coming from. Okay? Does this mean Horizon will raise the prices of ProLine products?
Yeah, and again, I feel like this is one of those. Did it get warmer in the room? But no, it didn't. Again, we want to take everything that's good from ProLine and add more resources to it to make it even better. And I think you guys have seen that with Arma and Axial, over the last 2 years, and to a large extent, those guys are good at what they do, and we just want to kind of help them get there faster. So, I would look and again, 1 week into it, I don't think we're making any changes to things like this. I would hope over time, we should gain some efficiencies rather than, than lose them, which would cause you to raise prices. But no, I wouldn't think one of our motivating factors here was to say, yeah, now we can have a price increase on ProLine. And I mean, I'll turn it over to Todd, because I mean, really the approach here is that, the ProLine team knows how to price their products. That's not really even something myself or anybody at Horizon needs to even be directly involved in.
Yeah. So on the pricing side, I mean, that's an issue that's, it's just one of those responsibilities we carry really carries a lot of weight around ProLine. We really want to deliver the best product, but we want to do it in an efficient, effective way that really allows as many people as possible to get access to the product. So I think that's one thing about manufacturing, that you're just always challenging yourself to figure out how to get it done quicker and how to deliver it at a more efficient price, and that will continue on. I would think, like Chris said, we'll probably have more opportunities to create streamlines and create efficiencies, and it should help it should help the margins on ProLine. I would think over time that there's just going to be a more effective kind of path to the retailer, to the end user. So.
Great. Another question from one of our viewers here, Eric Yoshimura. The industry has really been booming lately. How do you guys see it in 6 to 12 months? I wish I had a crystal ball.
Good question. Like, do we need to, if we had we knew that answer, that'd be pretty fun. But,
yeah, that's a good question. My personal take on it is, it has been a really good, 6 to 12 months, and again, for us at the Horizon side, really, a little over 2 years ago when we acquired Hobbyco, two of the best things that we got out of that acquisition were ARMA and Axial. And it takes a while to get the supply chain moving again. It takes a while to get the product development process going. But I do think a lot of the growth and the boom of this last 6 to 12 months, the ARMA team in particular, had some great ideas. They just needed some help, some resources to get them to market. And, we're seeing part of this boom is the great work they're doing. I mean, the felony that they announced last week, or maybe it was earlier this week, I don't know, the days all run together for me. But has kind of, lit up the market in a really good way. And Axial, same thing. The SCX 10.3 has been phenomenal. The Capra. I tend to think, we've got a good sustainable boom going here that'll continue to carry for the next year or two. Scale is awesome right now. I mean, some of the stuff folks like Todd and his team are doing to just make the experience more and more, kind of taking it to the next level is all stuff that I think just keeps people engaged. So I think we've got, a long runway here still ahead of us personally. I'd love a crystal ball, but that's kind of my take on the world. I don't know, Todd, what do you think?
Oh, I like the idea too that we've attracted a lot of new people, whether they've come back to the industry or whether they've just started out to get a hobby during this time of COVID, and just being at home more, being maybe more available as families, fathers, sons, fathers, daughters, getting out doing our RC hobby. And that's my hope, is that this is just the beginning, that we've kind of added a whole new group that's just enjoying our hobby. So I kind of think the next 6 to 12 months is going to be great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good too. I really hope it is anyway. I got a lot of toys to play with. On to the next one. How will the acquisition affect TLR team drivers that drive different tires, or ProLine team drivers that don't drive TLR?
Yeah, I mean, from the TLR side, and I think in general, we don't, we have TLR guys who have run ProLine for a long time, and I'm sure will continue to do so. And we're really excited when they heard about this. We have other drivers who run other tires. We want the team to represent TLR and Horizon ultimately, to be good ambassadors for the hobby. And so, what they want to run, whether it's electronics to win or a radio system to win, we let them be, pretty open on that. And so I don't think we'll have any decrees that say people need to give up what they're doing, whether they run TLR or for somebody else today. We obviously, much like we were talking earlier, it's kind of up to the ProLine team to make sure they're staying ahead of the curve and kind of giving racers that edge. But we won't be forcing anybody, or no one's going to be strong-armed to switch or stay with what they've got, I don't believe.
Yeah, I would say a similar story on the ProLine side. I mean, ProLine has a really diverse race team. It's across every brand we cover. So I would just say that those are great relationships we have with our team drivers, and we'll continue that strategy. And I think I like what Chris said about TLR. I think it doesn't make a lot of sense to, we know that our best guys have confidence in ProLine, and that's how we move the brand forward as far as product development at the racetrack. And so, asking people that don't currently run ProLine to run ProLine for this kind of transition that we've gone through with Horizon wouldn't make a lot of sense. So,
no.
Yeah.
All right, great. How does this impact ProLine by the Fire? Great event, I will have to say. I absolutely that's one of the best events I've ever been to. But how will this affect that?
Yeah. Well, thanks for saying that, Matt. I mean, we love By the Fire. Like we've kind of poured just our heart into it. I'd say Paul is our champion of By the Fire, but that's something that will continue on. And I think just like Axial Fest, I think we'll add something to Axial Fest, but I think Horizon will add something to By the Fire. That just having a closer connection as companies is only going to help those events. And we're gonna make By the Fire better than ever this year, just like we did last year. So I think that's the By the Fire plan.
Great.
Yeah.
It's a great event, and I think kind of one of the things that's really cool about our industry is that people have passion about these brands that they connect to, and they're very passionate about. And it's part of why we're having this conversation today, because there were some strong opinions out there, and we appreciate that. And that's where I think events like ProLine By the Fire are awesome, because they give that ProLine customer a way to go and interact with that brand, just like the ProLine race team. I mean, that's a great way to be connected to the ProLine brand. And again, it doesn't really matter what manufacturer you run if your connection partially is through ProLine. We want to make events like that, even put more power behind them, help Paul out. We just had a few weeks ago Axial Fest Badlands in Indiana. Paul was out for it, so Paul's the marketing manager for ProLine. Really helped us put on a good event. But whether it's Axial Fest, where the Axial Fest customer is totally dialed in and living the brand, or it's ProLine By the Fire, where again, some of that's an overlapping audience, some of it's not. We want to support those brand events, because that's where you get a really experience, the passion that makes the RC community really cool.
Right.
So, again, to the extent we can help, we'll help. To the extent, Todd and Paul and the team out there have it, we'll stay out of their way. It's that simple.
Great. Yeah. Someone that I work with a lot always referred to me to ROE, a return on experience. And that's definitely what both ProLine and Axial Fest can offer. So that's really great to hear. And as a connection to that question, will By the Fire continue to be at Apple Valley Horseman Center there?
Yeah, I mean, Horseman's a great location, and obviously the terrain there has been really fun to have access to that. Of course, that's a park, and it's a city kind of decision as far as our access to that park with COVID. So, I mean, our hope is that we'll get the green light to run that event there. If we can't, I mean, We've got some other ideas on how we might have to do that this year, but it probably means that we go back to Apple Valley the following year after COVID's all behind us. But that's all just speculation this time. We are, like, Paul's in contact weekly with the city. They want to make it happen, and it just comes down to some kind of city council environment which we don't quite understand. But that's the city's decision what they decide. But we'll definitely we'll work really hard this year to pull off by the fire, if not at Apple Valley, some other location. So
great.
Yeah.
Excellent. And it looks like hashtag Team PL. Paul is the man from Mike George there. Yeah, everyone loves Paul.
Everybody loves Paul.
Right. Yeah. Mike's correct. Paul is the man. So
yeah, absolutely.
We all agree with that. Yep.
And Lane T's got a question about Axial Fest. Will that be at Badlands again next year?
Yeah, so real quickly to answer that, much like Todd just mentioned on By the Fire, our intention is to go back to Badlands next year. Part of it is, again, that's a privately owned park, and so we have to work all those terms out with the owners of the Badlands. I think we were pretty good to them this year. We actually got compliments that the people that came to Badlands, we were a pretty well-behaved audience, which means we weren't trashing the campgrounds, and so they kind of like us for that. But our intention for sure is to go back. And actually the plan again next year will be to do Axial Fest out at Donner Ranch and to do it at Badlands. So we just weren't able to get to California this year because of all the travel restrictions, but definitely our plan.
All right. Well, I guess those travel restrictions won't help the next question. How about Hawaii?
I'm all for doing both a By the Fire and an Axial Fest in Hawaii. I don't know if that makes sense, but it sounds like a pretty good idea.
We could even have your birthday there if you want.
That's a great idea, but we'll try to do, again, we want to expand these events like this to reach as many people as we can, whether it's By the Fire or Axial Fest, or even, this past weekend. And it's the air side, which I know this crowd doesn't care as much about, but, we did Air Meet, which this was our 12th year of Air Meet. And, we couldn't have more than 50 people in Germany. We normally have 30,000. So we did Air Meet Live this past weekend and reached 200,000 people around the globe. So
incredible.
We're definitely a team that says, hey, throw a pandemic at us, we'll figure out how to get something done. And so, we'll try to make sure we can expand these events going forward.
And another location suggestion, Johnson Valley, home of King of the Hammers. I mean, you've got all the licenses. You've got the buggies. You might as well do it there too. Okay, on to the next one here. What does the acquisition mean for the Duratrax brand?
Yeah, this is a good question, and this probably falls in that bucket of we don't have all this figured out for day one. But again, I think a lot of the real speculation and question here is, does Duratrax have a home going forward? And I think both Todd and I are very comfortable and confident saying that, ProLine is very much built on innovation, this high level customer experience, creating that ultimate scale experience, or being on the kind of the cutting edge new developing technologies. I think Duratrax stuff is a little more of that kind of more evergreen product, and things like that. So I think kind of from a branding and positioning standpoint, which may be a little more technical than what folks want to get into, but I'm really confident that we're going to be able to do some really good things with Duratrax, and probably even more so because now we have experts in this segment that can maybe help us come up with some ideas that we've not gotten to yet. So I think Duratrax has a really bright future and can absolutely live alongside ProLine, just like Losi lives alongside Arma. You have different customers out there.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, we've always like to we've welcomed just competition, whether it's internal competition or external competition. I think it's just good practice to have competition and to push each other forward. For the consumers' sake, it it really ends up being a better experience for everybody. So, we don't know what, like Chris said, we don't know what that looks like, but we're definitely we're open to the idea of seeing how how we can be a part of just Duratrax's future. So.
Well, that's great. It's really great to hear all of this coming from you guys, because I think it means a lot to the viewers and to people who are involved in this hobby to know that the brands that they love and respect are being taken care of. And that's really great to hear. All of the responses today, I think, would put a lot of people at ease. And on that note, are there any further questions before we wrap up? We'll kind of open it up here and see if there's any good ones that come through. And we've got one rolling in right now. Are you planning to make electronic stuff, like work with TP Power or Castle Creations? And I guess that would be mostly posed towards Chris rather than Todd. But I don't think that we've got any. I don't think we could really talk about any possible products or anything at this point. But
yeah, I mean, a lot of our electronics, we've been probably for the last year or so really working a lot with the smart electronics that are under Spectrum brand, and moving towards those. It creates a great experience for customers. You get a lot of data that you've not historically had. Charging is faster, safer. Again, it's just smarter. You can kind of know exactly where your battery is and things like that. So. Again, I don't know beyond kind of the roadmap we're on with a lot of the smart electronics exactly here. We distribute Castle. They're good partners of ours. It's really good. Again, a great product line that is a good upgrade option for a lot of folks. But for electronic stuff on the Horizon side, we've really been consolidating it under the Spectrum Smart initiative that I think folks have been seeing for the last year or so.
And lots of great products in that line too. I'm a big fan of most of the smart products. Okay, I think that might do it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. It's been really great talking to both of you. It's awesome to see that there is going to be a really great partnership going forward. And I'm, for one, looking forward to that next 6 to 12 months.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for hosting us today. We really appreciate you taking your time too. But this is, we're really excited about it, and look for good things. I think you're going to see some really exciting stuff from this partnership, and we are definitely looking forward to it. So I see we just got a little message here from our friend Brian Parker. So wow, we've made the headlines today, Todd. Yeah, this is great. Right. Brian Parker is a great friend of Horizon and ProLine, and has helped make a lot of our events pretty awesome. So glad to see him tuning in out there today.
Thanks, Brian.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And thank you, everyone, for watching today. We will see you all again soon.
Bye now.